Hey horror fans, welcome back to Planet Phobia. In today's episode, we'll be going over the channel's new ranking system and taking a look at a community poll. Let's get into the video. So with the new ranking system, let's start from the bottom and work our way to the top. My first category is what I consider unwatchable. These are F tier movies. The first one we'll talk about is Live Escape. In my recent zombie ranking video, I brought this one up. To me, it's just unwatchable. The pacing, the acting, it's a horrible movie. If you're in this F tier, if you're unwatchable, these are movies I don't recommend. Live Escape will be the first. After that, we'd go to a movie like I Saw the TV Glow. So I know some people like this, and it might mean more to you if you're from a certain demographic. I watched this one and it's just so unconnected, and the number one sin that this one has is it's just not scary. I Saw the TV Glow, dropped recently, doesn't do it for me. It's unwatchable. Another title that falls in the unwatchable category is a movie called Against the Night. 9 friends sneak into an abandoned prison to film a ghost hunting video. When one of them disappears, they realize they may not be alone. So this is another found footage documentary ghost hunting style video, just done very poorly. It's unwatchable. After that, we go to an interesting title called Dead Space. This one came out in the 80s and actually has Bryan Cranston in it, which is the highlight of this movie. But besides that, this is a low-budget sci-fi unwatchable flick. And let it be known, the worst movie that I have reviewed since doing this channel, without a doubt, is Skinamarink. I was excited to watch this one when it came out back in 2022, and I could barely make it through this movie. This to me is unwatchable. You sit there for an hour and a half for the payoff to be a talking head. There's hardly any dialogue in this movie, no acting. The film goes nowhere. It's such a waste of time. I understand for people that suffer with sleep paralysis, this movie makes you feel like what you might feel when you have that condition. And for somebody that suffered with that for years, nothing in that movie even came close to the way it made me feel. Also, I've heard this is from the point of view of a child. I mean, I can get that a little bit, like as a kid, maybe afraid of the dark or afraid of the woods, but just the way this is set up, I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? To me, Skinamarink is the worst movie I have reviewed, and that is how I have the F-tier movies shaping up. Okay, so as we explore the different levels of horror movies and we finally make it out of the basement, the F-tier movies, we're going to move into the D-tier movies, which I like to call Dead and Bloated. I am feeling like a rose that somebody gave me 'cause I'm dead and bloated. These movies are watchable. I still wouldn't quite recommend them, but at least you're not wasting your time and you can get through these movies without vomiting or passing out from boredom. So on this category, we'd start off with something like Return of the Living Dead 2. One of the worst entries in the Return of the Living Dead franchise, and just a disappointment. If you were a big fan of the original and waiting for a very awesome sequel to drop, and this one finally came out, to me, it did not live up to the hype. This would be the top level of a Dead and Bloated movie. As we journey down this category, we find Elm Street 2. So, A Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is a strange movie. Of course, the follow-up to the highly popular original, but this one just went into some strange BDSM weirdness that was unconnected from the rest of the Elm Street franchise, and to me, it finds its way on a D tier category. After this, we have a film that's called Spirit Halloween. So this one I give a little bit of a break to because it's geared more towards a younger audience. But 3 friends who think they have outgrown the spirit of Halloween decide to spend the night in a shop. But things take an unexpected turn when their exciting adventure turns into a terrifying one. So yeah, a bunch of kid actors, not really that scary. This dropped in 2022, and probably the highlight of this one is it stars Christopher Lloyd. And the last movie we'll talk about on this tier would be a movie that dropped in 2004 called Creature, also known as Alien Lockdown. Meddlesome scientists try to turn a super violent alien into a weapon of war. Big mistake. Now it's hell-bent on human slaughter. There's a lot of creature flicks. This one kind of reminded me of, I believe, a movie called Feast. And you can just imagine any creature flick that you like and the cool practical effects. That's what I was hoping with this one. Um, they're doing something with the special effects, but the alien creature here just looks rough. And you add that to the acting and the pacing and everything about this movie being off. Creature would definitely find itself in the dead and bloated category. Next up is the all-important C tier category. This one I'm going to refer to as The Crypt Keeper. Movies that would find themselves on the C tier, starting off would be a movie like Nightwish. This one would be at the very bottom of the C tier. This one came out in 1989. It's pretty corny, pretty cheesy, but it's got a storyline you can follow and it is watchable. This one deals with sleep research and paranormal themes. If you've ever seen this one, this would be the one that would kick off my C category. Moving up from that, we'd have a movie like Mike Flanagan's directorial debut in Absentia. Creepy little film, low budget, decent watch. This would definitely be a C tier category, a Crypt Keeper movie. Other movies would be Cujo from the 80s, the Stephen King classic. And bringing up the community poll for the first time, a movie like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, beloved, great watch. This one I would put here in the C category. This one gets its namesake from movies like Bordello of Blood and Demon Knight, the Tales from the Crypt movies from the 90s. This is where this category gets its namesake, and these are the types of movies you would find in the C tier. The very top of this list was probably the hardest one to come up with, where to cut off the C tier versus B tier movies. So for me, the top of this list would be movies like Speak No Evil and the recently released Nicolas Cage movie Longlegs. So as we head out of the C tier and head into the B tier, there's a little middle ground here where I had to find a spot to cut them off and have some of these movies be C tier, some be B tier. This was about the hardest part of the list to figure this out. C tier movies, I would start to recommend titles like that. They start to get better. With B tier, they really separate themselves from the crowd. If C tier is good, B tier movies are great. And for this category, I'm going to title the movies that fall into this as Romero specials. So let's get it started here. Let's see what we got. Movies at the bottom of the B tier would be like Martyrs. They stand out. They're very different. This one here is gory. It's got a message that's very odd, but it makes you want to watch the whole movie. Another movie similar to this would be Caveat for me, all about the same ranking. And then you'd find Companion on this list as well. As you move forward, we could bring up the community poll once again. And I don't think we're too far off on this. I was a little surprised that the majority of people said Sleepaway Camp was an A tier movie. And like I said, I don't think we're too far off. I myself would put this in the B tier, but I could see people that say it's an A tier movie. I get that. And after looking at your responses, I actually went back and watched part 2 on Happy Campers, and I enjoy that one just about as much as I do the original. And then moving up a little bit more, you'd find movies like Dolls in this. Shout out to Helen, who's always given me good recommendations. And after this, the Friday the 13th movies, basically from 4 all the way to 7, I would throw on this list. And now, as we get to the top of the B tier, you'll see its namesake here. This is where I'd put Day of the Dead and Night of the Living Dead. So 2 classics from Mr. Romero, and that's where this movie tier gets its name from, the Romero Special. And a couple newer ones I would put on here that are at the top of the B category would be movies like Heretic and The Rule of Jenny Penn. Ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the A tier of horror movies. For this category, I'm going to call these movies Jack Torrance approved. Here's Johnny! So these are the cream of the crop. And at the bottom level of an A tier, Jack Torrance approved movie, I would have Friday the 13th Part 2. This classic is a great sequel to the original. Lots of great kills, good acting, and the fun that goes along with the Friday the 13th franchise. You'll also find classics like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'm giving all of these movies their flowers. They're just desserts. These movies should all be considered A tier, and for me, that's what they are. They're on the bottom of the A tier, but A tier nonetheless. And bringing up the community poll one more time, when it came to the voting, my vote went for A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. To me, it's my favorite out of the franchise, and it's a solid A-tier movie. And from there, if we want to look at some newer ones, there's movies like Nosferatu and The Substance. I would both put these in the A-tier. And of course, the namesake for this category, the Jack Torrance approved movies, comes from the best movie I have reviewed, the best horror movie in my opinion, The Shining. Thanks for watching another video, horror fans. This video really helped with my OCD and trying to declutter my brain with all these horror movie rankings. I'm curious to know what your preferences are and what you think of my categories. Hey, if we all had the same likes and dislikes in horror movies, everything would be the same and that would be pretty boring. So I know everybody has a different spin on theirs, but I think this video and these lists really put together where the horror movies we like to enjoy would fall on a category list. And yeah, so just give me your thoughts, and until next time, this is Planet Phobia signing off and wishing you good luck on your horror journey.